It can be really challenging finding the right hotel off Disney property that's still close to Disney and accessible to restaurants and things like that, with walking and all of that. So today I'm going to give you my tips for finding a hotel for Disney, a Disney World vacation that is off property. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Christine. I love all things Disney. If you love Disney too, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm a very small channel, so any support is really appreciated. All right, let's get right on into it. So you've decided to go to Disney World, but you've looked at the Disney World package prices and decided they were a little bit too high. So you said, all right, we'll stay off property, but you've never been to the Orlando area before and you don't really know what to look for. Today, I'm just gonna go over what tools I use and what kind of things I look for when picking a property off-site. The first thing I wanna tell you is the main thing that I use is Expedia. I find for me personally, Expedia has the best rewards program. It is the easiest to book through. It has rates comparable to that if you go on like the hotel itself and book. I actually think Expedia tends to be cheaper. So normally I just use Expedia flat out. I've had an account with Expedia for about 5 years and I love it. The more you stay, the more points you get, things like that. But regardless of the reward system and all of that good stuff, the ability to filter in Expedia and the prices and the deals and the things that they run, I find are just the best out of all of the like large travel websites. So obviously if I'm planning a budgeted trip, which I usually am because I just don't like to spend a lot of money, the first thing I'm going to do on Expedia is filter it so it sorts it by price from low to high. Now once I've got it sorted from low to high, the criteria I'm looking for is anything above a 4.0 out of 5. So Expedia has a star rating system, it's 1 to 5, and I like to look for anything 4.0 or above. Normally you can find things in the $50 to $150 range, definitely in that bracket. And then the second thing I look at very deeply is I look at the reviews on Expedia, because those are Expedia members who have, they've been verified for staying at this hotel, and you can see all of even the recent ones, and I just read through those reviews and kind of get a gauge on if it's clean, if the staff are friendly, if it's in a good location, all of that kind of stuff. So I'll read the reviews on Expedia, and then I will also Google it. I'll just go into Google and type in the hotel and look at the Google reviews. And I kind of come up with a list of, I would say 5 or 10 properties that I would be okay staying on. How you can make favorites on Expedia is there's a little heart icon in like the corner of each property, and you just click on it, and then it actually will create a list for you saved under that, time frame that you're wanting to go. So oftentimes I'll just make a list of about 5 or 10 properties through that feature on Expedia that are low in price and really good with reviews. Then the next step I dive into is checking the amenities of the resort. Does it have a pool? Do I want a pool for this trip? Does it have a pool? And then the big one for me is it located on International Drive? When you're staying off property and you want to visit Disney, but you also want accessibility to restaurants and shopping and things like that, International Drive is 100% going to be your best bet. I stayed on International Drive when I went in March. If you're interested in seeing more about that trip, there are vlogs on my channel that are linked up above and down below probably. When I stayed in March, I stayed on International Drive and I was only 10 to 15 minutes away from Disney property at the latest. I also really like staying on International Drive just because if you don't have a car and things like that, Uber, you're not waiting more than 5 minutes for an Uber. There are so many restaurants and things you can do in the area that you can walk around to. So there's like mini golf and restaurants. We stayed across the street from this big fairground looking thing. There was an arcade and there's shopping, and I mean there's just everything you could want to do on International Drive, and it's really convenient for those of you who don't have a car. Especially with Uber being so accessible and it being so close to Disney property, you're not going to be spending a ton of money on Uber if that's the route you decide to take. Now, if you are a large family, like more than 4, you have like 5, 8, 12 members coming, on Expedia, there's a really cool feature too where you can filter by like condo style apartment or condo style hotels and things like that, where they have the kitchen and multiple rooms, and they're usually in a little bit of a community, and those are really cool options. I did look into those for later this year, and I found them for November to be about $120 a night. So you're comparing something like that with a kitchen and different rooms and a living room and that kind of homey feeling to I would say comparable to a Disney Vacation Club property. Now, obviously the property quality is not going to be the same, but in terms of the amenities, you're looking very similar, and $150 is unheard of for a DVC property. So that is definitely something, if you're looking at like, well, I need a lot of room and I don't want to buy all these separate hotel rooms, they do have that option as well. Another tool that might be really helpful for you if you're looking for an off-property site is Airbnb. Airbnb in Orlando is massive. You can find a ton of available properties. And one really cool thing about Airbnb is some people have like themed out their Airbnbs, like Harry Potter themed and Disney themed and all of that. And you can find those on Airbnb. Now, those are definitely not going to be a budget option. Those are very expensive to stay in. They usually have a wait list or things like that. So just be aware of that, but that is an option if you're looking to do something that is off property but still maintains like the magic of either Harry Potter or Disney. You can totally find themed Airbnbs nowadays. Now, this is kind of an off-topic tip for staying off property, but it's something I wanted to mention because I feel like a lot of people are concerned with, okay, well, if I'm staying off property, like where am I gonna get breakfast if it's not provided by your hotel, which most of the time with COVID nowadays, it's not being provided. So where am I gonna get breakfast? And I don't really feel like eating out at restaurants and things like that. You can actually use Amazon's grocery delivery service, and they will deliver right to your hotel or your hotel room if you specify. It's no different than when you stay on Disney property. This is also an option you can use. And it's really, really helpful when you are flying, especially, and you can't bring groceries or things like that with you, or you want to get, perishable items and you don't have a car, all that kind of stuff. You can 100% get that stuff brought to your room, and then you're able to have cereal and milk and bread and things like that and snacks and all that for your kids, for snacking, for bringing into the parks, for breakfast, for whatever. So that's a really good option. Overall, when staying off property, I just want you, if you're looking to, save a little bit of money and still have a good time and a good experience, you really want to look at your price point for your hotel. You want to look at the location being on International Drive, and you want to look at the rating and make sure that the place is clean and sanitized, and the staff are not rude, and they're not going to double charge you for your deposit. I read it all on Expedia, so you just want to go ahead and check all those things, and I'm sure you will find a really good property. When I went down in March, I stayed at the La Quinta North. When you type it in Expedia, it'll be the La Quinta North at Wyndham or something like that, but make sure it's the North location. And it was the best off-property hotel that I've stayed at for a massive budget. When I booked it, I only had to pay $60 a night, so it was fantastic. It was right across the street from this really cool mini golf course. We could walk to restaurants. I mean, there was shopping everywhere. There was so much to do in the area. They had a little tiny pool too, which was nice. It was never busy, so we actually ended up doing that one day. We used Uber, and it was super easy. We were 10 minutes from Disney, so I definitely recommend this property. They did not overcharge me for anything. The staff were incredibly friendly. The rooms were very clean. They do not, have housekeeping in your room when you're staying, which I really prefer right now. So there was a bunch of benefits to it. I definitely recommend it. I believe the last time I checked, it did go back up to about $115 a night, but it's still, in my opinion, 100% worth it. I will leave a link to that hotel down in the bottom below, in the comments below for you guys to check out. But if you have any questions and you're planning on staying off property and you're feeling a little bit lost and you don't really know what to look for, you just need advice in general, please go ahead and leave me a comment and I will respond to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you need any more advice, tips, tricks, anything like that for planning your Disney vacation, please DM me on Instagram or leave a comment below and I will get back to you, and I will see you all real soon.